Welcome to Rusty Hammer Forge. Sorry about the noise in the background. I just have the forge heating up this morning. So a friend of mine and his wife, she's a friend of mine too, but she was asking around about if anybody could make a back scratcher. And there's various ways of doing it. I'm going to be showing you one way of doing it, and it takes 4 pieces of steel. We're going to be using this 5/16 as the main shaft, and you can see I have ground and cleaned up this end and put a bevel on the end of it. And then we're going to be using these 1/4-inch pieces. It doesn't matter how long they are, it really matters just how. I think these are 6 inches long, give or take. And I have 3 of them, and I've ground scarfed the edge on them. Now this is going to be a 3-finger one. You can do a 4-finger one, you can do a 5-fingered one, whatever. You can make one that looks like a hand, whatever. I'm doing a basic one here today, not really doing any sculpture work, but I'm just making a back scratcher that is relatively long so you can reach the places, and we'll church it up and everything and make it look all fancy. But it takes, this version takes 4 pieces, and the next step we're going to do is we're going to take and we're going to tack weld our 3 pieces, our 3 fingers, onto the shaft here. Now, I do have an extra piece, but I figured 4 was just going to be a little too much. So 3, we're going to do 3. We're going to do 3 fingers on this back scratcher. So we're going to, when we come back, we're going to have these tack welded onto this, and hopefully the forge is heated up. Okay, so here we are. We're back, and I have these 3 pieces tacked on here, relatively equal distance. We're going to throw them in the forge and get them warm, flux them up, and forge weld them to the end of our 5/16 shaft. And this is going to be widened out here, kind of shaped like a palm of a hand. You know, this is just a 3-fingered scratcher as this comes out. You know, so it's also a way you can make a hand rake. There's just different ways you can do this if you don't have a solid piece. I'm just doing it this way because I have these pieces cut. It was kind of a spur of the moment project, and I want to make sure that it gets done so that her husband can then take this video and watch it and go make it himself. So we're going to stick this in the forge, and we'll be back here at the end. Once again, as I've shown in some of my other videos, when you're doing faggot welds or bundle welds, what you're gonna want to treat them like is you need to treat them like cable. So you have to flux often and always. So every heat is a fluxing heat to keep it clean, to keep it protected, and you don't do a lot of brushing and cleaning. You want to make sure you have as much flux on there at any given time as you possibly can. So what you're not seeing is my in-between fluxing, in-between heats coming away from the anvil and back in the forge, is I am fluxing with borax 20 mil laundry detergent every time I go back into the forge. And that is really important when you're playing with cable or bundle welds, is to keep everything clean, because there's so many little voids in there. You can't let any bit of oxidation get in between your material and your weld. So that's why you continue to flux throughout. Okay, this is the initial welding heat. So we're just going to do some tapping here to get these set. So all we're doing is we're just setting our welds, and we're not going to take a long time at doing it. Flux it up and put it right back in the fire. 2, back into the fire. You just continue working this weld. I'm using the half ball side of this half ball peen right around my scarf. I'm not doing really hard blows either. Okay. And you can take as many heats as you need to on this to get it right. It's not quick, it's deliberate, and with purpose. I'm going to jump up to a little bit heavier hammer on this heat, and we're going to really, I'm not doing any harder blows, but a little bit more weight to help us solidify these welds in here. Put them exactly where we want them. Back in the heat, more flux. Light taps all the way around your weld point. Back in the heat. Back to a small hammer, but we're going to go onto the sides of our welds, on the corners, and we're going to put a little chamfer on those wedges. Blending all of our seams together. We'll come back here on the scarf part with the ball peen side. And just start blending. I don't want to go too cold. I don't want to put too much stress on these welds, so I'm going to flux this again and then we'll put it back in the heat. Okay, we're just going to come in here and we're just going to start really bleeding these, really blending all our welds. Back in the fire. Just continue working the weld area. I'm just moving up to the horn so I can get these scarfed edges with the ball peen a little easier. Really starting to blend the scarfed ends in with the main shaft of our piece. I think that looks pretty good. Alright, as I was forging on our nice scratcher tines here, or fingers, I was thinking, you know what? I got to put a nice handle on this. I want it to be kind of long. They wanted a long one, or the plans for a long one. So I'm going to forge weld a small basket onto the end of this piece, which I've cleaned up and flat spotted on 4-spot sides. You can go in and forge your flat spots in and then clean them up with a grinder, but this is just quicker. Less chance of scale buildup. Actually, no chance of scale buildup underneath my piece, and no pitting involved either. So what I'll do is, once again, I have these really small pieces, and these are about 5-inch pieces, give or take, and I've ground a scarf into the end of those. Once again, you can forge all this stuff if you want. And I'm going to tack weld my basket pieces on the end of our shaft here, so that we'll have a nice handle out here to be used with this. It just kind of completes the piece. Otherwise, you're grabbing onto some really small piece of steel, and sometimes that, for some people, may not work well. So giving a nice basket in here is a good way of rounding off the piece you're working on. So I'll go tackle these on, we'll put them in the forge, we'll get them fluxed up, and I'll see you on the first heat. Okay, just like any basket we're doing, you want to hit on all 4 sides while it's hot. Just tap it in place. Just get that weld set. And then flux it back up and back in the fire. And we're just repeating the same process that we've done in the past. It's just each tine gets a nice set hit. Maybe a couple hits. When the color dives off, put it back in there. See, I'm going to switch to a bigger hammer, but only a 1 pound heavier. So I'm going from a 1 pound to a 2 pound, so I can get more surface area on my hits. And that's all I'm doing. Just having more surface area for my hammer to help set this weld. Now we're gonna have to clean up the other end of our weld here soon, of our handle, because it's getting a little scaly, but it's fine. It's what's called hot setting. What I call it, I call it hot setting, and I'll explain it when we get to the pommel end of our handle. Okay, so what we're gonna do now, you can alleviate this whole process by just heating up and fluxing your pommel on your cage handle from the very get-go. But what we're going to end up doing here is we're going to pull it out of the fire on this heat. We're going to brush it vigorously, and then we're going to flux it, and then we're going to weld up our pommel. You can do it in the beginning and alleviate this step if you just heat it up and flux it all right then. But I mean, this is just another type of welding style where you're cleaning up in the forge, and you're brushing and fluxing and welding all in the same place without having to use the grinder to clean everything up and wait for stuff to cool. It's just another way to do things. Realistically, what happened is I just forgot to flux it, but it's easily fixed. So that's what we're going to do in this next heat. Okay, so I'm just going to brush all the insides of these away, so they're nice and clean, and then immediately go over here and flux all that inside. And I'm going to take my hammer and I'm just going to put it all back into place, so it's all nice, and that flux will kind of hold it where I want it to be. And now it's all fluxed and cleaned on the inside and ready for weld. And it's no different than the normal welding heats. Tap on each side. And that's all it is. You're just tapping it together, and then back to the flux. A little bit harder this time. Now that's not weld flying out. That's just flux. Pretty confident that my welds Alright, now this is fully welded. We're going to move back up here to the bolster area of our handle and really blend and seat and really solidify our welds in here. When I move back to the ball peen, I'm going to start working this bolster area with the ball peen side pretty heavily. Just turning my piece as I hammer so I can blend all this together. Down the scarf edge. Now I'm hitting towards the scarf and not really down on my parent material, but into the scarf to help blend and seat that weld even farther. Back in the heat. Going to a little bit tighter ball peen out here on the horn, and I'm just going into the scarf once again with the peen to help blend our weld. On the horn of the anvil. Light hits, almost like a planishing hit as I turn my piece, just to help blend everything together. Next heat, I'm going to start walking up towards the cage area and really blending all that together. I've gone back to the 2-pound cross peen, and we're just going to come up here on the bolster. Light hits as we turn, just blending it all together. I'm going to try and hang off my shaft a little bit off the end of off the side of the anvil, so I get a nice clean angle coming into it. Now that we have the bolster area all cleaned up, we're going to start working on the pommel area again. We're going to be drawing down and out to a point. Working with the 3-pound rounding hammer, we're just drawing down and out to a point. A little chamfer, knock that back over. If it starts twisting on you, just knock on the corner. Lux it up really nice, put it back in the fire. Everything is done at welding temperature when you're drawing this out. In case you have any pieces that want to fly apart, like on the tips, just keep it at welding temperature the whole time you're working this. You can work it fast that way, and you can make sure your welds are going to stay intact. Say we're all done here, which we are, and your basket's a little bit messy and it's gummed up with flux. Just put a light heat on it, bring it out here, and do light taps on it. Just square it all back up, get it all nice and straight. It's gonna clean up and knock all that nasty flux out of there that's built up over the process. I'm not hitting it hard, I'm just putting it all back into place, and that way when we go to twist it, it's not all nasty. It looks really nice. It's nice and straight, and we'll go run it over here and twist it up here on this next heat. Now you can use anything you want. I use a monkey wrench with a bar put on the end. I've also used, when I do river twists, I use crescent wrenches to do it. Using this monkey tool right here, monkey wrench that I welded up. It's a simple, almost a quintessential blacksmith tool. When you find these old ones, you weld a bar on the other side. It's a great twisty wrench. So that's what we're doing on this next heat. I know you can't see this very well. We're going right here, but it's just a simple twist. We're going to stick it upright, right where our weld stops. Basket begins. We'll just tighten down a little bit. Put our monkey tool on it. Preferably have it sides prior to. And we're just you're going to put a left or right-handed twist on it. I tend to go one full turn. And if you want to do a messy twist, you can back it all the way off from that point, and then twist it all the way the other way. But we're not going to do that. We're just going to put one full turn twist in it, and then when we get ready to back it off a half a turn, put down pressure on, and open that basket up right in there. So I'm going to put just a little bit of a hanger hook on this, just a little one. We don't have much to work with. I'm just going to heat that up and bring it around and just let it sit there. It's not going to be a pretty one. It's not going to have all the curly cues or anything on it. It'll just be something to hang it up on. But I'm going to do it. So there's our tines. So I'm going to do the hook off to the side so that it can hang flat against the wall when need be. So we're going to put this back in the fire, and we're going to kind of knock that over the edge of the horn here. I'm going to use a pair of grooved wolf jaws in here to hold onto my basket while I knock that little hook over. Back in here, and I'm just going to do it how I would do any kind of scroll work. I'm going to heat that back up again, maybe flux my tick a little bit, and we'll be back over here at the Anvil. You know, like it's nothing too rough on your piece. Just enough to make a hook off the side of it so it can be hung up. And then I'm going to hang it off the edge here and kind of straighten it back out. I'm going to put it on the horn of my Anvil and pull back, and then kind of just walk it around. I just want to make just ever so slight hook in there so that it has something to hang on to when you hang it up. Something to grab onto. But nothing so pointy that it's going to hurt you when you come back on it. So, but that's basically it right there. We're going to open this basket up and go back to the other side and work on our tines. Okay, we backed it off a half a turn, and there's a nice little basket. Just a little bitty guy. So we're going to cool this down and then work on the other end. Now, all I'm doing right now is I want to just make sure that all my tines are straight. There's, you know, in relation to everything else. So I'm just kind of lifting up and angling them. And I want to put, this is my top side. I want to put just a little bit of an angle on them here. Not sharp. They don't need to be cutting people when you're scratching your back, but just enough. Kind of putting them out on the edge of the Anvil. Kind of walk that down a little bit more. Straighten them all back out. This also helps knock some of that nasty flux build up on them. It's been happening throughout the welding process. Okay, now if you don't have one of these, that's fine. But if you do have a bending hardy, I would suggest using it. But I'm not sure if you do have one, so we're going to use the horn over here to put our claws for scratching our back. So we want the angle pointed up that we just put on, and we're going to come just over here on our Anvil, right on our horn, and we're just going to go right around the horn. Now it's not going to make a super even one, so you just have to come in here and straighten them out with your hammer. It really depends on how much you want to put into them. They are for scratching your back, so they don't have to be super long like mine are. They don't have to be super bent. But they do have to open up. So what we're going to do here next to you. Okay, I don't know if you can see that. This doesn't actually fit into this one, it fits in my other Anvil, but it's a nice thin cut off hardy. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to stick my fingers in here and I'm just going to spread them apart. And that's all I'm going to do. Now I'm going to take over here and I'm going to straighten them out just a little bit. You can kind of match them all up with each other. Continue playing with them. Get them how I want them. Play with the tips a little bit. That one too close together. But essentially it is done. So I'm going to clean this up. Next time I see you, we'll be talking about what we just did. Okay folks, so here is our wonderful cage we put on this back scratcher. There's the business end of it. There's also the same type of welds you can do for hot dog roaster, marshmallow roaster, garden rake. This weld allows you to do so much with it. This just happens to be a back scratcher. So they aren't sharp. They're just flattened and slightly rounded on the end. So they're not going to cut you or scratch you. They're just going to do what they need to do to get the job done. And you can see in there where our weld is. I could have cleaned this up a little bit more. And you can do that. And I probably will. I'll probably go back in and really blend all this together. But you guys don't need to watch that. That's pretty easy stuff. It's just doing what you like and what you think, and I'm going to go back in and clean that up with a hammer. And the same thing with this guy over here. I'll come and clean up the welds in here a little bit, but essentially, I mean, I'm at a stopping point now because this thing is done. It is started out with its 1/4 inch round and 5/16 inch round. The shaft was 24 inches long. It's a little big for a back scratcher, but whatever. We had roughly 5 inches for our basket down here and 6 inches for our tines over here. And that's it, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope that I originally made the video for. I hope he goes out and enjoys building this piece. And stay safe, my friends, and forge on.